Another one. Fighting games are very unfair. I will say rubbish editing is
Fighting
super
games
good. And the thing is, like, I actually like rubbish's like guides, like explaining concepts of fighting games, but I think our opinions on the genre itself are extremely different. And basically, I think one of my hottest takes is that players have a really big impact on how games develop, and that's why when a new game ends, when a game ends and a new game comes out, people are always like, "Man, that old game we used to play was so sick." Even though at the beginning we were all like, "This game trash," it's because players play the game, we figure out all the bullshit, devs fix it, plus add stuff, and we just keep doing this loop over and over.
One level removed from that, however, are system mechanics. These tend to be bespoke mechanics that are created for a specific game title. They are bespoke in the sense that they are unique to the title, but are still ever present for every single character within that title, like V'ism custom combos in Street Fighter Alpha 3. Other times,
Side note, I am really sad I did not play alpha games. The thing is, like, I haven't gotten heat for this for a while, but I used to get a lot of heat for, like, oh, you always use the same games as an example. I'm like, yeah, the ones I played competitively for years. Oops. So I actually regret not trying these when I was trying, like, way more. You know, like Vampire Saviors, they sold me on that. That's a fun ass game. I'm not gonna lie.
they are
So I feel like I would like some of these.
still very important, but cut from a distinctly
There's no
less revolutionary mold. There's and other more minute systems orbit around. Things like the tag systems implemented in the Tekken Tag series. As with any system ostensibly implemented across boundaries and characters, there are always
Tag 2 or Tag
winners
1?
and losers. Sometimes these advantages are simply byproducts of a character gaining access to things not present in an earlier system. These advantages can range from very abusable and subtle, like how Galen just happens to be able to execute a grab and an
It's a
angle,
roundhouse.
depending
Yeah,
on
this
if
shit is
the opponent
cheap.
stayed on the ground or jumped in the air, simply
Yeah. This shit is cheap. That shit is cheap. That shit is super cheap. With BB Hood, you have to fucking. I think the universal answer is activate, but BB Hood you have to do like down plus 3 kicks, so that because it's throw involved. That shit is cheap. That shit
by
is really cheap.
pressing forward at heavy kick. Winners and losers are of course hard to completely avoid.
Interesting.
But what happens when an ostensibly roster-wide game-defining mechanic breaks down completely? Soul Calibur 6 released with a heavy focus on a new system mechanic called Reversal Edge. In short, Reversal Edge is an infinitely armored attack that, if it hits, initiates a rock, paper, scissors game.
Bro, we be talking about what mechanic were they complaining about? The main thing that they really be adding to a lot of fighting games, they up the damage, they make the buffer bigger. Some games make more shit minus, and then every game adds like this armor shit. No one ever talks about the fucking armor shit they be adding to things. They're just like, oh, these games are scrubby now. And I'm like, can we talk about specifics, please?
In this game, there are a couple of options available to the player, but the main trio is broken down like this. Vertical will beat horizontal, which will beat kick, which will beat vertical. If both characters use the same option, a clash will occur and another round of the RPS game is initiated in which the character that hit with the reversal edge will win out in any further clash. There's also guard and
It sounds like Type Lumina, no? Am I trolling?
some movement options.
Power crushes are no. It depends. If you use a mid power crush, they're generally punishable. Some of them have a lot of pushback, like Jin Kazama, I think. But if you have a high power crush, it's safe. Like Azucena's is safe unless they nerfed it. Yeah,
As much as it is unfun to be disallowed to utilize an entire mechanic, at least there are several strong counterplays accessible to Reversal Edge to begin with. But what happens when there aren't any? Released in 2008 in arcades and 1 year later for consoles, Capcom's Street Fighter IV
I'm about to say.
reignited the fighting
I'm about to say. I was like, what game are they talking about?
both community-wise and as a marketable genre. Capcom, however, did bolt on one entirely new system mechanic for its fourth iteration,
Focus Attack?
namely Focus Attack. Focus Attack was a armored and chargeable attack available to the entire roster that could be used to blow through
I don't know. I don't know of a meme thing about focus attack in this game. Maybe talking about DPFADC.
through
actually.
offense on read. But what we're really interested in here is Street Fighter 4's meter-based applications of this mechanic. For 2 out of 4 possible meter gauges, a character in Street Fighter 4 could cancel the active frames of an attack into focus attack. Focus, attack, dash cancel, or FADC for short. The most divisive use case for the FADC, however, related to it being combined with invulnerable special
Yes,
attacks.
sir.
Generally speaking, since it is such a strong property, invulnerability is only granted to attacks with huge downsides. Something most often realized by making those moves insanely punishable.
This really is a this really is a why you shouldn't be able to RCDP video. Another one.
Ryu's other
He was good in
FADC-able special move is his invulnerable Shoryuken. Dashing out of this move on block effectively makes it an advantageous situation for Ryu, and on hit allows him to extend into massive damage through the game's comeback mechanic, Ultra Combos. Vega, on the other hand, gets absolutely nothing.
He can hold that. He had his time. I'm sorry. This is why you can't ask me to balance games, bro. You can't ask me to balance games. I'm like, he can hold that. He had his time.
Now, there are at least certain limitations to FADC. It represents a relatively hefty investment in meter, requires the character
No, focus attack costs 2 bars, like you just said.
to dash out of it, meaning there's always a set amount of time before they can act again, and it cannot be used on whiff for the vast majority of moves. But what if one were to remove pretty much all of those constraints and also significantly debuff the enemy whenever the mechanic was used? I mean, nobody would try to implement a system like that, right? Right?
They're gonna have to sell me hard on this, by the way. They're gonna have to sell me on this real hard. Real hard. I'm not a huge fan of YRC, unless you're talking about launch YRC.
If you made it this far, I'm sorry for my duplicity. This is really just a rant about how YRC is possibly the worst core system mechanic ever implemented in a game.
Has not played Dragon Ball, clearly.
But before I can get to
Clearly.
why I dislike it so much, I suppose I have to tell you.
Okay, what character do you think they play? We have to guess. What character, if you don't like YRC, what character do you play? It could be Slayer. You like YRC if you play Kai. You like YRC if you play Venom. Anyone? No, I don't give a fuck about YRC mostly. You could, in 1.0, I would have to find this. So YRC is not the same as Strive. Strive is the guard cancel. YRC is really, really fucked up. So they're talking about 1.0 YRC. I think it's pretty valid. Some characters just having like a just do it, like neutral skip quality to their YRC. But long term, I was like, well, I play Millia, I can fly, I can camp this, I can get away. Like there's counterplay. There's more annoying stuff than that.
YRC, or Yellow Roman Cancel, is the defining system mechanic of the third main iteration in the Guilty Gear franchise. A character in Xrd can, for 25% of their meter,
They're already showing rev, so
during the startup frame of any move, or just whenever in neutral, press 3 attack buttons together and execute a YRC. Due to how Arc System works nebulously defined startup, certain moves like teleports, summons, or most notably fireballs can still be cancelled after the move has technically become active. So far, YRC might just seem like a
okay. They didn't mention. I mean, I guess for the scope of this video, it's definitely like a tangent, but basically one of the biggest goals of YRC, so they take Xrd, right? XX, right? So a lot of people, even back then, a lot of people had this impression that Guilty Gear XX was really hard to get into. And one of the biggest things, and I think to this day, one of the biggest things that people said that makes them scared to play the game is FRC. Right. I think today the current XX player base does a much better job of being like, hey, this game's not scary. Like, we all learn at our own pace. Come on, there are people who will help you out, blah, blah, blah. So one of the things that YRC definitely aimed to do, because you saw that Rubbish mentioned, like, there's some moves like projectiles that the projectile can be out and you can YRC them, right? So one of the goals of that was like it was a way to make FRC more accessible, where YRC is basically the startup. So like basically anyone can do this. Like it takes no practice. You just do it.
Firstly, since a character doesn't need to input a mandatory dash to be allowed to act out of the move that is being cancelled, the amount of gained frames cut from the recovery of the move is vastly increased. Secondly, YRC slows down the opponent by 50% for 18 frames, regardless of what they're doing or where they are on the screen.
This thing is the whole reason why we have our current RC system, by the way, and why I don't know about everyone, but there were definitely like a bunch of NA players, like Romola when she was playing. I was saying this. We were like, man, it's kind of sick that the entire screen doesn't slow down and you have to be like in a certain range to do it. It's because of this.
Yes, you heard that right. By pressing 3 buttons at any time, you can slow down your opponent by 50% for a third of a second.
This is like Subway Surfer, bro.
And this is costed at 25% of your meter in a game where you build it by holding forward. You want to get in? YRC and hit buttons, baby.
No.
The world is your
No, you can't do that.
Downside to YRC.
You can't do that. You cannot do that. That's literally a waste of meter. Yeah, so I mean they're using Chip as an example. Chip is broken, but you cannot do that. You cannot do that.
Is that using it nets your character a 6-second meter penalty.
Yep. Very critical in this game. Very, very, very critical in this game.
Many of the reasons listed here would be enough for one to form a dislike for this system. But my chief complaint is that as a Slayer main,
you play Slayer. That's why you don't like YRC. Exposed. This video's over. We're done watching this shit.
Skill issue.
Hold that. You play Slayer. Hold that shit. You play Slayer. How about that, buddy?
Issue.
I'm gonna fly like Sonic.
Yes, sir.
Sonic.
Yes, sir.
Sonic and Knuckles. I'm on Angel Island, bro.
Yes, sir.
Listen. I'm on Angel Island. You know Sonic 3? Milia's on Angel Island. She doesn't give a fuck about all these scrubby YRCs. Hold that. You play Slayer. That's the cost of haha pile bunker. That's the cost. Cry more.
Skill issue.
The funny thing is, there's so many legitimate complaints about YRC. They didn't talk about any of them. They're just like, I play Slayer. I don't like it. Hold that. Hold that shit.
I don't even really get to partake.
Yes, hold that.
Let's quickly check the common use case of YRC for and against.
I regret to inform you that you do not have that dog in you.
That's what I'm saying, bro. This is the gamer character, dude. This is the gamer character, bro. The gamers boot up and they're like, oh, look at this guy. I'm invincible half the time. Hold that. Hold that. ACR is right there.
In a sense, I'd say what hampers Slayer the most in terms of the usability of YRC. Firstly, unlike a lot of characters, Slayer does not have access to any sort of projectile.
Thank fucking God. Okay, the rest of this is flames. The rest of this reaction is all flaming. Thank God Slayer doesn't have a projectile. You think that he's a fucking projectile, bro? But. There's one really, really, really good thing about Sign 1.0. Slayer is dog shit in that game. It is awesome. That's by far the best part of Sign 1.0 is Slayer fucking sucks. All they do is buff Slayer. They buffed him every single patch, and I think now he's like mid tier or high tier. I don't know. So when I started Exert, I was blessed to not have to deal with bullshit Slayer.
Meaning he can never use YRC to safely control screen space.
Have you tried being invincible whenever you want, buddy?
This is, however, true for more characters than just Slayer. Slayer instead moves utilizing teleport dashes and special moves. If Slayer is mid-teleport, his only option is almost always to jump and guard in the air. Something that is seldomly very beneficial, seeing as it will tend to incur more block stun than
dude, as soon as they said they played Slayer, the hate is flowing through my veins. I fucking love this video. I love it when Slayer players cry, bro. I am so happy. This video is so good. And a Slayer player crying. Oh, streets fucking love this, bro. Oh my God, dude.
Since jumping always incurs a
the funny thing is, like, we tell them to just block and then they don't because they play Slayer.
Flat 4 frames of jump squat in which Slayer cannot guard, He is more prone to just dying for moving than most other characters.
Oh my God.
If Slayer opted to utilize either of his special moves, Mappa Hunch or Dandy Step to move across the screen, however, he is completely fucked if he doesn't himself counter YRC the YRC projectile in question. Generally speaking though, this forced 25% meter usage doesn't mean Slayer will be able to avoid blocking said projectile. He is still forced into a disadvantageous situation, he just has to pay a troll toll first to be allowed to not also
Yes, that's invincible. Fuck you. Oh my God. No, I hate, bro. Fuck Slayer. Imagine blocking for a single second. Bro, listen. Okay. Ready? I'm gonna show you something from the LK archives.
Johnny's for combo monsters. Slayer's for people who don't want to block.
They're crying because they have to block because they play Slayer. That's all I said about Slayer.
Amelia is for gentle.
Boom. Slayer got like 3 words. Bro, I didn't even flame Johnny.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Dude.
sir. Yes, sir.
Dude,
Yes, sir.
I didn't flame Jonathan's Fondy.
There's always an LK clip.
There is always an LK clip, bro. There's always an LK clip ready to go. Also, the motherfucker kills you in 1 hit. And he's hard as fuck to block. And when you knock him down, they never fucking block. They do wake up, invincible command grab to you. And this guy's going, boo-hoo, YRC. Get the fuck out of
fully
here.
illustrate how mind-bogglingly uneven YRC interactions often are.
Nah,
I
don't care.
figured Wheat Slayer is cornered by Kai, who is fireball trapping him with Stun Edge. Slayer can't really contest this with attacks.
Have you tried just making yourself invincible when you fucking feel like it, bro?
because of the
You
speed of the
play. Oh my
fireball
God,
and
dude.
spacing. He can toss a fireball, and you sort of have to guess if it's going to continue or if he's gonna anti-air your ass.
No
into
shot, dude. Have you tried making yourself fucking invincible? His special ability is being fucking invincible. This character is stupid as fuck. Oh my god, no. Another complaining about Kai Kisuke, by the way. Remember what I said about Kai? When people complain about Kai, they play a fucking degenerate character. Always. You've never heard me complain about Kai Kisuke. Ever. Not once. Not fucking Kyle, bro. Never. Not a single time, dude. Only motherfuckers who play Slayer and fucking HC and shit hate Kai. It is the biggest red flag of your character selection if you fucking hate Kai, bro.
Meaning the best possible option for Slayer, if he correctly reads a stun edge YRC is going to be thrown, is to sit there and be put in approximately 30,000 frames of block stun. I'd like to stress that my primary issue with YRC is stun edge YRC is arguably Kai's most defining move in Xrd.
By the way, true. Like I said, we call this fuck it YRC. And Kaya has one of the really good fuck it YRCs. That's when you do a projectile from full screen. Actually, it doesn't really matter where you do it. That's why it's fuck it. It's not full screen YRC, it's fuck it YRC. You just do it. You go, oh fuck, I don't know what to do. You just do stud edge YRC and you run and you see what's going on. But yes, it is easily one of his strongest options.
Impacting how the character functions
Answer
and
has a
is
true.
played to a much higher degree.
Oh, there it is. Skedaddle, Skadoodle, I now control the facts. Dizzy has it. Yeah, there are many characters who have this. That's why I started calling it that. I was like, man, there are mad characters I play the person has no idea what to do in a situation, so they just do fuck it and spend 25 meter. You know, they could have just made this video about that, but
Than pretty much anything else in his entire arsenal. From a zoomed-out perspective, making these very impactful and unique mechanics be core system-wide ones is very risky. I mean, how do you approach changing how the system mechanic impacts one move without making it feel inconsistent or illogical for newer players?
that's the thing. They did that. YRC. I should try to dig this up. I should try to. I just don't remember what was the last Xrd 1.0 tournament, but the old YRC, the original Xrd YRC is legit a fucking really busted, really stupid, terrible mechanic, and then they changed it, and then they basically have not changed it since, to my knowledge. So if for the people who are blessed to not play 1.0, there's the YRC OS, the YRC Burst OS was a problem, so you could put YRC on all your buttons, and then also there was grab and command grab, especially command grab. You do command grab YRC and not PRC, and it heavily benefited characters like Soul and Potemkin and Zato. Everyone remembers Soul. Zato was like top tier in launch version of Sign. like toppy tier.
Just look at Tekken 7, where Namco tried to have their cookie and eat it too.
No
An
comment on
attempt
Tekken
was
7,
made to
unfortunately.
limit the difficulty of defending against throws. Instead of having to visually identify if the grab was a 1 or 2 break, hitting either button would break both options.
Oh no, they're talking about me. That helps me. I'm a baby. That's how I break throws in Tekken 8. I'm a baby. When I play a character that has a full throw game, I'm mind fucked. They're coming at me.
With 1 plus 2 breaks, then
Oh my god, I didn't mean to flame you about Slayer.
if the grab was one with a special input, the opposing player still had to break 1 and 2 grabs with the correct button, leading to a fully incomprehensible system for a beginner to try and understand. Visually, these generic and command throws look identical, but only one of them can be broken with a 2 break. More and more, I'm leaning towards developers making...
All right, Tekken players. This is a little cap, right? This is a crumb of cap though. When I felt like when I was practicing my throw breaks for the first time, but maybe it's because I'm not fighting a beginner. I was looking at where the character was grabbing my character's body, basically, to see the difference. But I mean, it's supposed to be a 50-50 anyway for some characters, you know.
The 2 break. More and more, I'm leaning towards developers making the star of the show not the core system mechanics, but instead bespoke character-based ones that can easily be tweaked without creating inconsistencies.
I know a game.
But hey, maybe you disagree. Maybe...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nah, you're just crying because you play Slayer. Hold that. I'm sorry. Oh my god, the video was ruined as soon as Rubbish said they played Slayer. The video was ruined. The whole point of the video was ruined to me. I was like, you're just crying. No, nah. The video actually was flushed as soon as they're like, I play Slayer. As soon as they start complaining about Slayer and YRC, I was like, nah. Look at the top comment. Slayer mains will make an entire well-produced video talking about system mechanics to complain about Kyle. Oh, I like how this is Kyle.